Okay, Algebra 1A, Monday, March 23rd, 2020, just following up from the long weekend we had, finding the solution set for absolute value equations, a subject near and dear to my heart. I spent it all weekend. You guys believe me? Of course you do. I spent the entire weekend thinking about absolute value equations. Yeah, you're right, I didn't. Let's do some problems. The absolute value of n is equal to 9. Well, what does that problem actually mean? We're in the world of algebra. So our variable is in the bars. So we've got the absolute value of n is equal to 9. The question is asking, how do I get a distance of 9? Well, I got so excited I shook the table. So I have to split the equation into two possible outcomes. Does the Fitbit care? No, the Fitbit doesn't care if I go forwards or backwards. So I'm going to count for both cases. N is equal to positive 9 or n is equal to negative 9. So if I plug it back into the equation, what's the absolute value of 9? 9. What's the absolute value of negative 9? Also 9. The solution set is satisfied. Moving on to problem number 2, the absolute value of m is 13. The question is asking what? How do I get a distance of 13 steps? The Fitbit does not care. The Fitbit doesn't care if I go forwards or backwards, so I'm going to count for both cases. So m can go positive 13, forwards 13, or m can go negative 13, as in backwards 13 steps, because the Fitbit does not care if you go forwards or backwards. Plug it back in. The absolute value of 13 is 13. The absolute value of negative 13 is also 13. The solution set has been satisfied. Now, number 3. The absolute, sorry for shaking the camera, it's not Blair Witch. The absolute value of z is equal to 0. How do I get a distance of 0? Well, if you're sitting on your computer right now, congratulations, you have found a distance of 0. The absolute value of z equals 0 means there's only one way to get a distance of 0, and that is if z is equal to 0. Okay? If the absolute value bars equal 0, that means that there's only one solution. Now, take a look at number 4. The absolute value of f is equal to negative 20. How do I get a distance of negative 20 steps? I picked the letter F. I didn't realize that until now. How do I get a distance of negative 20 steps? Can I reverse the steps that I've taken that my Fitbit has registered? Can I tell my Fitbit, I didn't mean to plug in those 20 steps. I want to get my calories back. No, that's impossible. So if the absolute value equals a negative number, that is impossible. There is no solution. There's no such thing as the absolute value equaling a negative number. So the absolute value bars equal a negative. That means that there is no solution. That's impossible. I can't get in. If I'm low on gas in my car, turn the ignition on, I go in reverse, I get more gasoline. That's how it works. No, that's ridiculous. That doesn't, no. So the absolute value of m plus 3 is equal to 10. My question is the output positive or the output negative? The output is positive 10. So the question is, how do I get a distance of 10? I take the inside, and I say inside, and it goes, yeah, and I say you're equal to 10 or negative 10. Okay. Sorry about that. It's a little bit sloppy. I apologize. I'll write it a little bit clearer. So the inside can be 10 or negative 10. Now it comes to the algebra. M plus 3 equals 10. How do I get M isolated? I minus 3 on both sides. I've undone the layers of M. So 10 minus 3 is 7. So M equals 7. I am done. I'm going on to problem number 6. No, I have to satisfy both requirements of the solution set by solving for M plus 3 equals negative 10. I am not done. Don't yell at me. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. M is equal to negative 10 minus 3, and I get M is equal to negative 13. What if I don't believe you? Yeah, I'm talking to you. What if I don't believe you? You plug it in for M. I'm going to look at this. Let's plug in the easy part. 7 goes in for M. What's 7 plus 3? Yeah, 10. What's the absolute value of 10? 10, because if I go forwards 10 steps, my Fitbit says you've gone 10 steps. If I plug in M equals negative 13, what's negative 13 plus 3? It's negative 10, but what's the absolute value of negative 10? It's 10. The Fitbit doesn't care if I skip backwards 10 steps. I'm going to get 10 steps on that Fitbit. Now, number 6. The absolute value of x minus 5 is equal to 13. Is the output positive or negative? It's positive. So this problem is solvable. How do I solve the absolute value of x minus 5 equals 13? Well, I say the distance needs to be 13 steps, so I need to account for 13 steps forward, or, big or, I'm going to grade you on your or. If it's not big enough, no, I'm just kidding. You will write x minus 5 equals 13, or x minus 5 equals negative 13, with a hint of, you said it, I didn't. X minus 5 equals 13. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides to isolate the x to undo the layer of x. So then x equals 13 plus 5, which is 18. We're not done. I'm going to solve for x minus 5 equals negative 13. I'm going to undo the layer of x by adding 5 to both sides. What is negative 13 plus 5? Negative 13 plus 5 is negative 8, with a hint of lemon. I'll say it just for you. So check my work. 18 minus 5 is 13. The absolute value of 13 is 13. So we're going to plug in x equals negative 8. What about x equals negative 8? Negative 8 minus 5 is negative 13. But what's the absolute value of negative 13? It's 13. The Fitbit does not care which direction you go as long as you get those 13 steps in. All right. The absolute value of p minus 9 is equal to 21. Is the output positive or the output negative? The output is positive. So therefore, this problem is solvable. I'm going to split this up into 2 cases. You can't stop me. I'm going to put a big or. So I've got p minus 9 is allowed to be 21 steps forward or 21 steps backwards. So p minus 9 equals 21 or p minus 9 equals negative 21. Do you understand? I understand so much I overstand. So I'm going to undo the layer of p. 21 plus 9 is 30. So plug it in. 30 minus 9 is 21. The absolute value of 21 is in fact 21. I'm going to go on to problem number 8. Don't yell at me. I know I have to do the rest of problem number 7. So I got p minus 9 equals negative 21. I need to undo the layer of p by adding 9 to both sides. I'm going to do negative 9 plus 9. That cancels it out with a hint of lime. Negative 21 plus 9 is negative 12. Negative 12 minus 9 is negative 21. But what's the absolute value of negative 21? Also 21. So we've got both solutions here. Problem number 8. The absolute value of j minus 5 is equal to negative 12. Is the output positive or the output negative? The output is negative. The Fitbit wants to get negative 12 steps. I don't know about you, but I have not done negative 12 steps. This absolute value can never equal a negative output. So if the absolute value bars are isolated and it equals a negative number, that means that there is no solution for the variable. The solution sometimes is there is no solution. Sad to say. Okay. Moving on. There'll be a problem number 13. So let's see if you guys can do these problems. I put 11 and 12 in there just to review what happens when we need to undo multiplication. See if you guys can do these 5 problems. I didn't mean to rob you of a 13th problem. Okay. So the absolute value of n plus 17 is equal to 4. Is this problem solvable? The suspense is killing me too. We have 2 solutions. So I'm going to take the inside. So I've got n plus 17 can be equal to 4, or n plus 17 is equal to negative 4, because I want to get a distance of 4 and I need to account for forwards and backwards. So how do I undo the layer of n? I'm going to subtract 17 from both sides. So that means n is equal to, what's 4 minus 17? That'd be negative 13. But then I got to do the other equation. N plus 17 equals negative 4. And I'm going to subtract 17 from both sides. So n is equal to negative 4 minus 17, which is negative 21. Satisfies the solution set. Okay. Number 10. The absolute value of y plus 9 is equal to negative 50. Is this problem solvable? Well, the output is negative and the bars are isolated, so I'm not happy because the Fitbit is telling me to get negative 50 steps. I don't know how to do that. The absolute value can never equal a negative number. The inside can be negative, no problem. That means I'm going backwards. But as for the absolute value equaling a negative number, that means I'm going a negative distance, and that just does not happen. No solution. Do you understand? I just want to review your one-step equations with multiplication. The absolute value of 3x is equal to 12. Is this problem solvable? Yeah. So 3x is equal to 12, or 3x is equal to negative 12. This time I was pretty nice. So if I've got 3x equals 12, How do I undo the layer of x? Well, if this is 3 times, I need to undo times 3 with divided by 3. And I get x equals positive 4. Are we done? The answer to that is no, not completely. You would get half credit if you did that. Get full credit. How do I undo that layer of x? I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides, getting me x equals negative 4. So x is equal to 4 or negative 4. Moving on to problem number 12, the absolute value of 2y is equal to 30. Is this problem solvable? Yes. I'm going to split this up into 2 cases. 2y is equal to 30 or 2y is equal to negative 30. Do you understand? I understand so much I overstand. 2y is equal to 30. I'm going to divide both sides of the equation by 2. Y is equal to positive 15. I'm not done. Don't yell at me. 2y equals negative 30. How do I undo that layer of y? I'm going to divide both sides of the equation by 2. Yet again, but y is equal to negative 15. Wow. Last problem of the day. 6p is equal to negative 40, the absolute value of 6p is equal to negative 42. Well, the bars equal a negative output. This problem is impossible to solve. Therefore, p has no solution. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. I hope you guys have a great Monday. I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, I think it'll be our review day because I'll hand out the exam on Thursday. If you have any questions, please email me. I want to help because we're going to have another test on absolute value, but in 2-step equations. Have a good day. Remember, review day tomorrow.